Good morning. And welcome to Unity of Palmyra. We're centered in love. We embrace a positive path for spiritual living, and we are positive that the internet is back up and running this morning. Thank you, Alan. For those of you who didn't see the notification in our Facebook group, it turns out it had nothing to do with what was happening inside the building. A wire had actually torn down outside the building. So no matter what we would have done, we were not going to have internet last week. But we do this morning, so welcome Facebook and YouTube land. We're absolutely delighted that you're joining us this morning. We are an open and affirming congregation. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory. If this is your first time here with us this morning, welcome. Please join us downstairs afterwards for fellowship. We'd love to get to know you a little bit better. And today is going to actually be an exciting day. I'm going to give you one of your announcements now, because this is our monthly hug meeting. Hugs, HUG, stands for Help Unity Grow, Help Us Grow, Help Y'all Grow. It's just a conversation. We get together and we talk. We do it every month. It keeps us all on the same page, or at least the same book as a community. And today we are going to start a 10th month exploration of the beloved community. And what is a beloved community, and how do we create a beloved community? So it's going to be an awesome hug meeting today. I hope you can join us. So come on down, grab a nosh, and then we're going to get started right away on exploring the power of the beloved community. So let's take that power and the joy that's in the room this morning into our opening prayer. Let's all take a nice big deep breath. And as we exhale, we become fully present. We let go of what was and what will be, and we embrace this moment, this now moment, and all the gifts it has to share with us. The wisdom, the love, the comfort, the strength that is present right here and right now, in this room and through the ethers. For one thing we know for sure is, together or apart, we are always connected at the heart. And so we take that knowing, that focus, that presence into this time together as we say thank you for this time, thank you for this place, whatever place you are in. And most especially, thank you for one another. And so it is. Amen. Let's stand and sing and affirm what a blessing you are to the world.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. And all I am and all I do is a blessing to the world.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Let's share together in our vision, centered in love. We embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. Just a quick heads up, save the dates before our hugs and handshakes. For our Lenten series this year, which starts in 2 weeks, can you believe it already? We are going to be exploring in depth our vision, our mission, and our 5 community values. We're going to go into the deepage of them. So for those of you who were not here 3.5, almost 4 years ago when we created them, we're going to share with you the process by which they were created. And then at the end of Lent, after Easter, when we've gotten through exploring what our current vision, mission, and values are, we're going to look at whether or not we need to revisit them. But before we revisit them, you need to know what they are. So that's going to be a fun 7 weeks. It's going to be interesting. I'm hoping to make it a little interactive for you. So one of the ways that we practice our universal spiritual principles is to honor wherever you are on your personal journey, COVID and otherwise. So if you want a hug, we'll bring it in. If you're more comfortable with the handshake, please put your hand out and we will respect that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we totally get it. Just stay where you are and we will leave you completely alone. Have a great time.
Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. So join us. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Woo.
The slow down at the end is your cue. So have a seat. No, don't give them any more, Alan. We're good. We're back. We can continue the hugging and loving during fellowship. So a couple of quick announcements, because on Hug Meeting Sunday, we do talk about all of this at length during the Hug Meeting. So our prayer chaplains today are Sherry Fries and Helen Baker, and they are both in the room. And then Leslie Burrith is also holding space for us from home. So at the Hug Meeting, we're going to talk about the basket auction, donate things. We're going to talk about the Easter egg opera fudge sale, sell them. I already told you about the Hug Meeting. We're going to talk about Gwen's class, A Lenten Journey of Spiritual Renewal. Sign up for that. And this is a save the date. If you are interested in becoming a member, a voting member of Unity of Palmyra, you do need to take some membership classes. The first one this year is Unity 101, and it's just what it sounds like. It's the basics of Unity. It's about our organizational structure briefly. It's about the history of the Unity movement. It's about the history of Unity of Palmyra, and that will be after church on March 13th. The membership classes are all on Sunday afternoons, and they are all in person. So we will have a sign-up sheet for you for that, probably out by next week. If you want to sign up for it before then, just shoot an email off to Jackie, and she will get you signed up for that. I think that's it. Please do come to the hug meeting. We're very excited for it. It's going to be very experiential, and I think we'll have a great conversation. So Becky is going to read the Daily Word today, and it's going to be Wednesday's Daily Word, because when we shared the Daily Word at our council meeting on Wednesday, I said, oh my gosh, I wish this was Sunday's Daily Word. It's so perfect for the topic, and the council said, is there any reason you couldn't read it on a Sunday? And I said, absolutely not. So, Becky, the Daily Word from Wednesday.
Sacred. My sacred spiritual practices keep the awareness of God in my heart. Sometimes the mere sight or feel of a treasured sacred object is enough to center my awareness on God. I feel humble and reverent as I gaze upon a sacred image. I feel the same as I step into a sacred place. Without any effort, my mind quiets, my heart opens, and I feel at peace. The traditions that give meaning to my life are made more sacred throughout the years. Each time I observe a custom or celebrate a rite of passage, I am making it sacred. Even developing a deeper, more intimate understanding of myself is a sacred part of my prayer practice. I discover the innermost essence of who I am, and beholding myself as a child of God, I feel beautiful, wise, and loving. I am an integral part of the sacredness of divine life itself. And from Peter, verse 1:15, as he who called you is holy, be holy yourselves in all your conduct.
I am home, my family is here. I feel love by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I'm lifted up in prayer.
So today's crochet project, thank you, Sherry, are prayer beads. And so I thought in preparation for today's talk, I would use the prayer beads during our prayer time today. So we do have some members of our community who are in need of our comfort this morning. Dan's sister Nancy passed this week, and so we are surrounding Dan with love and comfort. Jody's kitty Bandit is struggling. We hope is on the road to recovery, but we want to surround Bandit and Jody because kitty mommy has had a rough week worrying about her Bandit. And we want to celebrate Janie being back. Yay! Your team was awesome last week, and we missed you. So, yes, and we want to celebrate Debbie's successful surgery. She is home and she is recovering. So let's take all of that into our prayer time this morning. So just very gently close your eyes. And if you have any concerns, if you have anything that you are feeling challenged by right now, just gently place it into this space, into this community of love and compassion, into this accepting, gentle, comforting, kind community. Place your concern here and allow us to infuse it with the wisdom, strength, and courage of these amazing spiritual warriors. As we send this love through this room, through the ethers, to anyone listening, know how deeply you are loved. Know that you are whole. Know that you are a unique, divine expression. Know that you are a beautiful human being. And regardless of whatever challenge or problem or issue you are experiencing, we know with you it is temporary. We see you moving through it with ease and grace, finding the opportunity and coming out the other side. So we are with you during that journey, and we will celebrate you as you emerge. If you have something to celebrate today, or if any gratitude is bubbling up for you today, please share that with this beloved community. As we swim in your joy, we swim in your happy moment, enjoying it together. For we know that when our troubles are shared, they are divided, and when our joys are shared, they are multiplied. And for this truth and so much more, we are so very grateful. And so it is. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are whole.
Well, hello there, everyone. It's good to see everyone today. Thank you, Sam. Today I have the privilege of singing and being accompanied by Monsieur Allen and Janie. Glad to be a part of this team. Without any further ado, please allow me to do what I do. Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing through me, in and out and through me. As me, where I stand, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I sing, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. where I work. Love is my career, where I play. God is playing boldly in and out and through me. That's me. Oh, 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 where I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and be, where I sing, where I dance, my dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and build. God is, light is, truth is, as me.
That was beautiful and just so perfect for today's topic, as the Prayers on a String is the title of today's chapter, and it's all about tools that we use to deepen our spiritual practice. And the whole point of deepening our spiritual practice is to incorporate at a cellular level our divinity. That wherever we are dancing or playing or singing or being, God is dancing and playing and singing and being through us. And so how clear is that conduit? Right? How clear is that conduit through which Spirit is expressing? And that's the whole purpose of spiritual practice. So let me let Cindy speak for herself today. She's talking about prayer beads, and her first exposure to any kind of a prayer bead or a deepening tool was one of her friends in elementary school was Catholic, and she brought her rosary to school. And Cindy was fascinated by the rosary and wanted to know all about the rosary. And that led her into this enjoyment and curiosity about these tools. So she says, worshiping in community, following Sunday's teachings during the week, and praying the rosary are all forms of spiritual practice, and they suggest a progression. At the first level, practice is used as a noun, and it refers to, quote, the usual way or a custom. This level encompasses various forms of worship, such as the singing of hymns, listening to scripture readings, and reciting the Nicene Creed, as we did in my church. We did the Apostles' Creed. Anybody else do that? Okay. Practice can also be a verb, meaning to do, to put into practice. This action-based level includes the ways we live out our faith based on what we sing, read, or recite during our worship services. At the third level, the verb form of practice means to rehearse, to do something many times over to gain skill. This kind of practice encompasses memorizing, internalizing, and calling forth prayers and scriptures as we practice being in the Spirit. With each level of practice, the responsibility of the practitioner grows. At the same time, inner support for the practitioner's spiritual life increases. Each of these forms of practice is important. Merely being present in community can be helpful, bringing comfort to us and to others. Actively carrying spiritual teachings into our daily lives and contributing more of ourselves to the activities of our faith community can increase what we gain from the experience and what we contribute to others. And by developing regular habits of reading, prayer, and meditation, we can deepen our faith and broaden our reach for spiritual growth. Practicing our practice leads us to meaningful increase in more ways than one. So she goes on to talk about some of the other major faith traditions in the world and how they use these tools. And she talks about the prayer beads, which come from the Hindu and the Buddhist traditions. Some prayer beads have 33 beads, some have 108 beads, some have 36 beads. They all stand for different practices. But the beads are used to help us focus. So as we're reciting a scripture or as we're reciting a mantra, we go through the bead. It's a tactile recognition that we are engaging in a spiritual practice and that we are deepening our awareness of the divine. So whether it's the prayer beads from some of the Eastern traditions, the rosary from the Catholic Christian tradition, she talks about the woven, the knotted prayer tassels on the shawls from Judaism. And I remember many years ago when Ken did Fiddler and when he was Tevye, how they made sure that his shawl was accurate, that it was a real shawl. It had the knotted fringes and was real, had that real prayer energy infused in it. In fact, Ed, the director, had a rabbi come in and work with the cast because he wanted this to be real. He didn't want it to be a Zero Mostel Fiddler. He wanted it to be a real expression of what the Jewish community went through during that time in history. And so as I was reading this chapter, I was thinking about that shawl and the knotted tassels. And then there's the prayer mat from the Islamic tradition of the 5 pillars of Islam, and one of those pillars being salat, praying 5 times a day, and how the prayer mat that one kneels on and prostrates oneself on becomes infused with that prayer energy. So all of these tools are designed to help us deepen our practice, not to take the place of practice, but to deepen our practice and also to deepen our focus, to help us focus and concentrate. And I think one of the things I love about the beads and the other physical forms of deepening is it acknowledges that we don't all think the same way. We don't all learn the same way. We don't all process the same way. Many of us are very tactile and having something to hold. I'm watching crocheting and knitting going on in the room. Many of us learn better when we're doing something with our hands. It helps us to focus, right? So there's so many powerful uses for these tools. And then we have to ask ourselves, so why bother? Why do we practice? Why do we want to deepen our spiritual practice? Why do we want to deepen and expand our awareness of our divinity? Why is coming together in spiritual community so important? Why are we here? I don't mean existentially. I mean here, in this community. What is the power of this community? And are we tapping into all of its power? Are we fully embracing our teachings, our principles, our practices to be of maximum benefit to ourselves, one another, and the world? And so that is the spiritual practice is the foundation of the beloved community, which we're going to start exploring today, and we're going to be looking at it about once a month through the next 9 or 10 months. And this is an extension of a program that I and a couple of my colleagues have created for ministers and spiritual leaders and community leaders in our field, in our unity movement. And so I'm coming back and I'm sharing it with you all as we go through this with those leaders. So we're using the book called Creating the Beloved Community, a handbook for spiritual leadership by Reverend Jim Locker. Jim is a Centers for Spiritual Living minister. You're going to be watching a video in a couple of minutes, just a quickie video for him introducing this. He's engaging, he's wise, he's funny, he's lovely, and I'm excited to be sharing his wisdom with you all off and on throughout the year. So he says that the beloved community, I want you to hear this, is made of people on a spiritual pathway who seek a closer relationship with God, or the divine, however you define it, and seek to be examples of love and compassion in action. They practice being truly dedicated to being fully aligned with spiritual principles. In other words, in the beloved community, we walk our talk and we practice what we preach. So that's why we practice. So I want you to watch the video, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the qualities important and inherent in the beloved community.
The idea of a beloved community is something that I certainly didn't invent, and it's most connected with Dr. Martin Luther King, although he didn't invent it either, and he got it from Dr. Howard Thurman, although he didn't invent it. But it's one of those timeless ideas, I think. And this is part of what we were talking about over the last couple days. Langston Hughes, the amazing poet, wrote this: "I am so tired of waiting, aren't you, for the world to become good and beautiful and kind." You know, and I think we in New Thought, in religious science, know that ours is not to wait for that. Ours is to create it. Ours is to support the co-creation of a world that works for everyone, which is the Center for Spiritual Living version of the beloved community. Let me see here. There we go. This is from the King Center, a statement about what the beloved community means. It said, "Dr. King's beloved community is a global vision in which all people can share in the wealth of the earth. In the beloved community, poverty, hunger, and homelessness will not be tolerated because international standards of human decency will not allow it. Racism and all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and prejudice will be replaced by an all-inclusive spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood." Now, I've never met anyone that disagreed with that statement as a goal, as an ideal, as the way we would like the world to be. And yet, despite this seemingly universal agreement, maybe I'm wrong, but the world hasn't achieved this yet. Has that been your experience? Yeah. But it is one of those overarching goals or visions that can draw us forward to something. So what I do in my latest book, Creating the Beloved Community, is really talk about spiritual leadership in the context of, is the local spiritual community aligned with an overarching goal like this? And if so, what tends to happen is the local community becomes passionate about having that be the world they live in, and the experience of that tends to mean the day-to-day concerns about organizational maintenance tend to go away. In other words, people are attracted to and excited by a powerful vision, and they show up and they support it. They support it with their presence. They support it with their financial giving. They support it in many, many ways, and the focus then becomes the energy of the vision. When I work a lot in coaching ministers. My background is I was a pulpit minister, as we say, for 20 years with Centers for originally Religious Science International and later Centers for Spiritual Living. And I was in Fort Lauderdale, then Baltimore, then Fort Lauderdale again, then Westlake Village, California, and then Simi Valley, California, so I couldn't hold a job. But I don't hold that against myself. But in that experience, and then I was on the board of directors of Religious Science International for 9 years. During the time we were doing what we call the integration of bringing two separate organizations together as Centers for Spiritual Living. And since my retirement in 2015, a lot of my work has been coaching ministers and other spiritual leaders. And what I find is that so many of our communities, our spiritual communities, are sort of mired in not enough. There's not enough money, there's not enough attendance, there's not enough parking, there's not enough space, there's not enough whatever. And I find, and when I have conversation about that, and I'll start asking them to describe what's going on, and I'll ask them a question. I say, "What's your overarching vision?" Well, we have a vision. You know, what is it? And they may remember it. You know, they went through a process, and it's on the wall somewhere. But it doesn't come readily to mind. I said, "Is your vision in support of a world that works for everyone, or the beloved community?" And often they say, "Well, it could be, kind of. I never thought of it that way." You see. I said, "You don't have a vision if it's not part of you, if it's not part of your reactive mechanism of who you are as an individual and as a community. Otherwise, you're a club, basically, which is a group of people coming together to, in some way, feel good or have an experience of good, which is very valuable, but it doesn't help to create the beloved community, you see the difference? And we do have many, I wouldn't say many, we have some spiritual communities in New Thought that are thriving. And when I look at those, when I speak to the spiritual leadership of those communities, inevitably they are moving toward an overarching vision like the beloved community, like creating a world that works for everyone. And people are excited about that, and there are components within that community that are taking that out into action through outreach, working with local nonprofits or something like that, or charitable causes, or through activism, engaging in the political arena for causes that are consistent with our spiritual principles. Or through InReach, and through InReach, which is providing support for the people in the community that need it. You see? In other words, they're learning valuable spiritual principles, and they are also, within that same space, able to put them into practice in various ways.
So what do you think? Does that... And all the council members breathed. So does creating a community or participating and co-creating a community with that level of vision and passion interest you? That powerful combination of in-reach and outreach, of supporting and caring for one another at the same time that we are working together to create a world that works for all. Does that interest you? Okay. So here are some qualities that Jim has identified as important for a beloved community. And each of these he prefaces with a consciousness of. So a consciousness of compassion, a consciousness of love and connection, a consciousness of deep and radical self-knowledge. Whoa, deep and radical. Get out those prayer beads, right? Deep and radical self-knowledge. A consciousness of healing, of creating an environment where we are healing to get healthy, right? Not to get stuck in the healing part, but healing with the goal of becoming healthy. A consciousness of vision. What is our vision for our individual lives and for this community? Of pioneering. And I had to go back to the book to look up what he meant by that. And it's thinking outside the box. It's being willing to try new things. It's being willing to fail. When we have that consciousness of pioneering, we're willing to go, well, let's give it a shot. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we'll learn from it and we'll do something different. So it's that pioneering energy. A consciousness of evolution and emergence. Woo! Right? That's juicy. right? Evolving as individuals and as a species and as a community. Jim is a fan and teacher of spiral dynamics, and in fact, spiral dynamics is woven throughout this entire book. So those of you who took that workshop with me, I'm happy to offer it again this year for anyone who didn't. A very important roadmap for our evolution as a species. And as we're going to look at in Module 3 this year with the group taking the course, is the power of how to lead diverse communities. And yes, we are a diverse community, right? Because diversity isn't just about what color we are or what gender we are or who we love or what political party we belong to. Diversity is the diverse ways in which we think, the diverse ways in which we approach our lives. Diversity. A consciousness of mutual support, of supporting one another in accomplishing our goals and our dreams and in moving beyond our challenges. As my friend Maria used to say, what are you more interested in, your dramas or your dreams? Mutual support is about helping us move beyond our dramas and fulfilling our dreams. A consciousness of contribution. So what we would say in unity is this is a consciousness of where do we give our time, talent, and treasure? How generously do we give our time, talent, and treasure? So it's about the energy of money, the energy of our time, the energy of our creativity. How generous are we in contributing to and supporting the communities that we belong to? The consciousness of possibility. I love that one. What's possible? Instead of looking at what was and complaining about what is, what's possible? What could we co-create together? And a consciousness of resiliency. I just want to say I think we nailed that one over the last 2 years, where I'm going to give us very high marks around the consciousness of resiliency, because that is that capacity, that ability to continue to move on, even if we're moving on very slowly and very cautiously at times, but we're keep moving on. We're able to recover from the inevitable setbacks, from the unpredictability and the impermanence of physical reality. That's resiliency. So we're going to be exploring all of this during the hug meeting today. I have a very, hopefully you'll think it's fun, a fun exercise that we're going to do. You're going to get to play with markers while you're eating. So there's 2 fun things, markers and food. So please do come to the hug meeting, and we're going to be exploring the beloved community and what it looks like and how incredibly powerful it is and why it is the inevitable extension and result of all of this practice that we do. We don't just practice to become enlightened ourselves. We practice to make a difference in our world, in our lives and in our world, to create that world that works for all, to model embracing a positive path for spiritual living, to truly be a welcoming community, to embrace many paths. What does that look like in reality? So join us for treats and markers and fun during the hug meeting today. So everybody take a nice big deep breath, because this is big stuff that we're looking at. I want you to take a breath and just be open to the possibility of what we could co-create or continue to co-create, because I'm hoping that you were noticing that we're already demonstrating many of these qualities. So take a nice big deep breath and very gently close your eyes and allow Janie to sing you into meditation.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember? Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember, to love, to serve and remember.
And so I invite you to breathe in to that question. Why have we come to earth? Why did we decide to embody a physical form? Why did we agree to sign up for this adventure we call humanity? And to embrace this earthly, very human experience. It's a powerful question. What are we here to learn, to remember, or to experience in this physical form? Why have we come to earth? Who and what and how have we come to love? Who and how and what have we come to serve? And what truth of ourselves and others and the world have we come to remember? The Buddha asked us at one time, what good does all this knowledge and all these principles and all these beautiful words, what good do they matter if we do not act upon them? And so I invite you to take that question. Why have you come to earth? Into a moment of silence. the answer to surface gently. From the deepest part of you. From the stillness of the lake underneath the waves. Underneath the wind and the storm. Hear that still, small voice. So grateful to have your attention. As we live this question, this moment, this hour, as we leave here and return to the world, we live this question.
To love, to serve and remember, 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 to love, to serve and remember.
Thank you. Sherry, I'm keeping this extra set that you made. They're lovely. So this is the time of our service where we consciously engage in that flow of giving and receiving. We don't pass the basket anymore. There is an offering basket in the back of the room if you have a physical gift to share with this community, or you can go on our website and hit the donate button. However you feel inspired and led to support the very important work of this community, we are so very grateful for your continued generosity and the love that it shows that you have for the work that we do. Thank you.
One power. There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. Only one power, invisible, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious till you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings on heaven's door. But whatever name you call it, it's still one power, can't you see? It's the power of the Lord in you and me. One power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, with different clothing, different colors, different names, but different, only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember when we close our eyes and see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem on heaven's door. It's Mohammed, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, all Father Time. But whatever name you call it, it's still one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the Lord in you and me. One power, one power, oh yeah, one power, one power, one power, oh yeah, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that is most deep. It's one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one we are in one.
One power, one power,
One power, one power. It's the power of the Lord that is forever in you and me. It's the power of the Lord in you and me.
one power, one power,
One power,
one power.
only one.
And that's why music is a spiritual practice. Because it blows our hearts and minds wide open. So let's stand and share in our unity blessing, and let's particularly focus on our amazing musicians this morning. Wow, the music was just awesome. Thank you. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Yes, we do. And a quick reminder, we will have in-person Sunday school next Sunday, so the kids will be back. Yay, wasn't it great to have kids on the platform again? I know, it's my happy place. So, all right, let's sing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth,
and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. Go forth, have a wonderful week. Be God wherever you go this week, because that's the truth of who you are. Come on downstairs to join us for the hug meeting and fellowship. Bye-bye, fellowship. Bye-bye, Facebook and YouTube land. We'll see you next week. It was an F word.